vegan, SOS free. My name is Eve Zahler. I'm a PhD in bioorganic chemistry, and I'm 9 years raw vegan. So everything I eat is not heated, not extracted or processed. It's pretty much like whole food. And then I'm using a few tools to have a little bit of fun with it. But technically for the raw diet, you don't need any tools. This is all readily available to eat. You don't have to process that. So what we're doing today is specifically desserts. So I find raw vegan desserts are the most delicious, and I don't miss any regular processed desserts anymore because raw vegan desserts are the best. So, and pretty much you're using a lot of fruits for desserts, like apples are in season now. They kind of seem boring to me as well, but they are really, really healthy. So I feel really good eating a lot of apples, for sure. And then I have dates. Dates are really a staple in the raw vegan diet. They have a lot of calories, and on the raw vegan diet, you need the calories from carbohydrates mostly. So I do also have some almonds, nuts and seeds. I also eat nuts and seeds. Then I have avocado, a very fatty fruit, limes, and here I have dried apples. So I use a dehydrator. The dehydrator is like a little oven, but it doesn't heat the food more than, well, you actually can heat the food a little bit higher, but I use it only till 115 degrees. So the setting might be 120 degrees, but yeah, the food is not really as warm as the setting. It's a little bit lower usually, so I use the setting 120, but the food usually stays below 115 Fahrenheit, so it's not cooked. So I don't cook anything. So those apples I sliced yesterday. I cleaned them up, sliced them in like 1/2 inch strips, and then just dehydrated them at 120 Fahrenheit overnight. And I also dehydrated bananas. I just peeled the banana and I put it in the dehydrator and whole. So we're just gonna do something with that. So, but first I was thinking about an apple cake.
Did you soak the almonds? I see that they're...
Oh yeah, the almonds, I like to soak the seeds, the nuts especially, just to activate them. They get more voluminous. They get more volume. So that was actually just 1 cup, and it's almost like double in size. And it also washes away the anti-nutrients that they have sometimes, the lectins, or in sprouts they have the lectins. In nuts and seeds they have the phytic acid, so which can be a little bit harsh on your digestion, where it can also cause allergies. So sometimes it helps if you soak your nuts and seeds. So I just soaked them overnight in water, and then today I rinsed them and drained them with fresh water. Yeah. So for the apple cake, I have the almonds. Yeah, you can use the almonds. Well, I like to dry my own foods or the dried fruits because I can also use this just like dates almost. Because for a base, so since we don't cook and we don't bake, we need a different kind of cake base. So it will be flourless, no flour, and it needs to be sticky because if you bake a cake, usually you use a lot of oil, you use flour, and then it sticks together, and it holds together by baking. Now we can't bake really, so we have to have something sticky like dates, and something floury or fatty instead of the butter and the oil, and that's why we use almonds. They have 50% fat, so we don't really need any butter or oil on top of that. And we don't have flour, so the almonds are pretty much the flour and the fat, and then the dates are the stickiness. But if I have dried fruit that I dried myself, in my dehydrator, like bananas or apples, I could also use those instead of dates, technically. But I also want to use these dried apples for something else. So what I do first is I'm processing these dried apples. So they're pretty dry. I dried them quite good, so sometimes they're a little bit softer, but this one is a little bit softer. But that's okay for our purposes today. So I have a food processor here, and with the food processor you chop vegetables or fruits or nuts and seeds. You just chop them very fine. Okay, I'm just gonna put all my dried apples. I think I used about 6 apples yesterday that I dried, but I don't really count too much the amount of foods that I'm using. Because I find with raw foods, since I don't really change the texture or the taste much, I mean, I don't process it too much, so the taste really stays intact. So even if I vary a little bit with the recipe, it tastes still very good. If that makes sense. A very old food processor. It's a little bit more. Almost there. Now I basically made crumbles out of just dried apples. So this is just 100% apples, and instead of the flour and butter, you know, what you usually use with to make crumbles for cake. There's so many different ways to make a cake in the crust. So basically it's usually some kind of dried fruit, like dates or apples here, and then nuts, seeds. You could also use this here as a cake crust as well. So yeah, there's so many options really. We can really vary the cake as much as we like. Yeah, but the other method to make a crust is like the regular almonds or nuts and seeds and dates. Usually people use the nuts and seeds dry, so mine are a little bit moist. So it will be a little bit different, but I can also pat them down a little bit. So I'm just going to use paper towel and dry them a little bit. If you have any questions anytime, make it more interactive.
I have a question.
Yeah?
You said you were vegan for raw vegan for 9 years?
9 years, yeah.
Were you regular vegan before that?
Not really. So gradually I changed my diet into more healthy eating, and I ate a lot of raw foods. And I reduced my animal product consumption, so I think the only thing was fish and meat. I stopped eating dairy. But yeah, no, I increased my raw foods for sure, and then I just stopped eating cooked and animal products altogether.
Okay, thank you.
So what is the formal definition of raw food? So for example, if you take apples and grind them, is it
that's a very good question. So there's different definitions of being 100% raw. Of course, mostly raw is just that, fresh. And this is what you should eat primarily on a raw vegan diet. That's really the point, like eating unprocessed foods like this. But then you decide what is acceptable for you. So either you want to include a few cooked foods as well, or you want to include dried foods or blended foods, or that's really up to the individual. So for me, I decide I eat mostly raw, and then I can tolerate some dried foods as well. I make sure I drink water as well if I eat some dried foods, but it's not really the norm that I eat every day dried foods. But there's not really a raw food police that determines, okay, that's not really raw.
Yeah, I'm not about policing, I'm more to have clarity on definitions.
Oh no, I didn't say that you do, but yeah, there's no real like common definition.
Weren't you mentioning that there's like a temperature cap for?
Yeah, definitely. Most agree that definitely raw is not heated above 115 Fahrenheit. But some argue that maybe this is not optimal raw anymore because this was an apple and now it's kind of processed.
Right.
But if I have an apple, so how I do it, I just eat any foods that are natural. So an apple that dries in the sun, I can eat that. But an apple, you will find a sun-dried apple in nature, but you won't find a baked apple with butter on top of it or something. So that's very unlikely. It's more man-made, but I mean, you decide really. Maybe you want to include a few other cooked items as well. But I believe the more raw you eat, the more beneficial for you.
Is there a reason you did the dried apples in the Cuisinart instead of the Vitamix?
You could probably chop this too in the Vitamix, but it might get stuck a little bit. The food processor is pretty good for chopping things, and that they don't get stuck on the bottom. But yeah, the Vitamix sometimes it can chop things up. So I patted these a little bit dry, but of course they will have some moisture still in there, so it will be a little bit different than a regular cake. So I probably used about half a cup of almonds that were soaked. I used half of them. And then the dates. This is how you usually do a regular raw vegan crust. It's basically just nuts and dates.
For this
like
crust,
5 dates.
you could probably switch out almonds for macadamias or cashews or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. You can switch them out, like walnuts maybe, or, and as I said, you can use them dry, like anyone, usually you use dried nuts, but I like to soak them. You can also put the nuts in the dehydrator if you want, but our crust. I just really like to prepare food like this because your kitchen is not hot, it doesn't smell very, very strong. It's like everything is very fresh. And it's also very quick. I mean, how long does it take to make a cake crust? It takes a lot of energy. Okay, now this is our crust. is how most raw vegan cakes are made of, with this kind of crust, like any kind of nuts and dates together. And then see how very sticky it is? So you don't have to bake it, or you also don't have to put it in the fridge to make it firm or sticky or stick together. It's like really the dates and the nuts together. It's only a 2-ingredient cake crust. I like to use very, very few ingredients. The less ingredients you use, the less can go wrong. And then you don't bake it, and you don't cook it, so you don't really change the chemistry of the foods. So it's very, very easy to prepare raw foods in general. Because here you could have used double the amount of walnuts, almonds, or you could use walnuts, a different kind of nuts. You could use a little bit more dates or less dates. It's really up to you. It will still stick mostly if you use just the right amount. Here I used half a cup of almonds and 5 dates, and you could use 4 dates if you don't want one is that sweet. If you want it thicker, you can make it thicker. It's really up to you. It will work no matter what.
So if I can ask real quick, you've got a chemistry background, and I'm curious on your thoughts on when you add heat to foods, how it changes the chemistry and sort of what the thought is on like keeping something below 120 degrees ice when you apply heat or some type of cooking process to it.
Yeah, so this food was baked in the sun, and the chemistry is natural, how it's supposed to be, right, from nature grown. If you cook a food, the best example probably is cooked potatoes, where you form out of the sugar and the protein, you form acrylamide, and which is carcinogenic. So the higher temperatures you use for the potato, the more acrylamide you will develop or make in the food. And that's one example. So acrylamide, I don't think it's in food in general. It's only in food if you cook it. So, and I believe like every other animal, the food was grown in the sun, and it should be just that. There's no reason to use fire to alter the food, because it can make chemicals, like the food, the different compounds in the food, the chemicals, they get excited through heat and then they react with each other. And this should not happen in this food when you get it from nature, because there's no fire really.
Also like one of the primary ingredients, the enzymes get destroyed first.
Yes, yeah,
and
that's.
they get least destroyed in this below 100.
Yeah, that's another point. So you also destroy the life force. I mean, if you put your hand in fire, then you can't use your hand anymore. I would say. Same with the apple. It's just not an apple anymore. If you put it in fire, you destroy it. You destroy the life force. You destroy the enzymes, especially. And the enzymes, yeah, they are. I mean, at some point with the digestion, they will be denatured, but not immediately. So once you chop up a food, then the enzymes get released and you swallow the food. It doesn't really get mixed right away with your digestive juices or the acid in your stomach. So they don't get denatured right away. They just get like stored in the stomach for a while, and then they start digesting the food as well. So the enzymes in the food help you with digestion. Yeah, that's another good point. And then, yeah, there's other things maybe that are not really explainable. I mean, I think also that there's life force in this food that just get killed. So I'm not against cooked foods, but I'm definitely promoting a diet high in raw foods because of that, because of the enzymes, because of the natural chemistry in the food that you really need, the vitamins, maybe some vitamins get destroyed in the food, and then also the life force that you eat with the food.
Yeah, but if baked potato has acrylamide,
Yeah.
it's not very appetizing.
No.
That's
No,
all.
not for me. I mean, I loved French fries in the past.
But a last potato without acrylamide is completely indigestible. That's to say,
Yeah.
if you bite into a raw potato.
Yeah,
you're not
exactly,
gonna
exactly.
feel it.
That's.
Oh, you can eat raw potatoes. It's just
Can
not
you?
as tasty. Yeah, they're not toxic. They're
I've
just
heard
not tasty.
various things about potato toxicity.
Unless they cream.
No, the only toxic part in potatoes are the green potatoes, the solanine, and that is toxic still if you cook it. So yeah.
So they do mashed potatoes here though a lot, right?
Yeah, don't ask me about it.
Okay.
I wouldn't eat it. You have a salad buffet, you can eat that
Yeah.
instead. I guess you just cater to a lot of taste. I mean, it's questionable, you know, once in a while people can maybe tolerate it, but I think it's up to the individual what you can still tolerate. I mean, there's people that live on junk food and they turn 120 maybe, but it also depends on your genes or your your ancestry or genetics, whatever it is. So I got very sensitive. I don't know if I would be still alive if I wouldn't have changed my diet. So my genes are not that great maybe over time. So, and this food really helps me to not have problems.
What is your accent?
German.
Ah, okay.
You have a question?
What's your main source, your personal raw food main source of protein?
Oh, everything.
Everything, so there's
Yeah.
not, you can't just limit it to a few, it's a little bit of everything.
Well, every food has protein. Protein is a,
Main source.
yeah, it's really the main structural component for every living being. For plants, and plants are very good at making protein. Plants are actually the only ones, besides a few bacteria, that can even make the essential amino acids. And all animals eat plants to get essential amino acids. Yeah, but an apple, of course, has less protein than a steak. But I call it good protein for sure. It's not a lot of protein, but the apple just has more water than the steak.
It's got fiber.
And it has the fiber. And I don't think, well, the RDA, so your recommended daily allowance for protein, or the minimum of protein that you should eat, is supposed to be 0.6 to 0.8 grams per kilogram. So that's not very much. So people overeating on protein for really no reason. And I eat on my diet, I eat about 50 grams of protein per day. So that's in the the recommended value, daily value. Okay. I removed the pit here from those dates. I'm gonna count them this way. 11.
So you're telling me that I can bite into a raw potato so long as it's not green? And
Oh yes, yeah. There's even raw vegan recipes with raw potato. There's a Russian salad. You grate the potatoes, you wash away the excess starch, and then you mix it with ginger and garlic. Yeah, it's not my favorite. It's really not my favorite. I don't really eat
I'm gonna
raw
try it
potato.
out though, that's awesome. I didn't even know that.
Maybe you like dry
Yeah,
potato.
I might.
Okay, now for the next part in our apple cake, we'll be slicing apples and mixing them with a caramel sauce. And the caramel sauce we'll make out of dates. because dates is really your friend. Instead of white sugar, you don't really need white sugar. Nobody needs white sugar if we have dates like this. They are so delicious. They're just like caramel, and yeah. You don't even need maple syrup, because you can make your own syrup with dates. Just a little bit, like half a cup maybe, start with that. And now I'm using my high-speed blender. That's the problem if you don't have a lot of volume, and it doesn't really mix well. What else do I want to do with the dates? But it'll be okay. Even if you have a little bit of dates, you can blend it up very smooth, or you can also just have a few caramel bits, right? I used 11 dates for this, so you can use more, of course.
Do you ever make like almond milk or anything like that, or do you usually keep all your stuff intact? More so?
You could. I do a lot of dressings.
Oh, right.
Yeah, dressing with lemon juice and herbs, and or with tomato. I blend it up, make a dressing, almond dressing, or walnut dressing, sunflower seed dressing. It's alright if you have a blender like this. You just put things in and you blend it up, and you either make it sweet or you make it, savory. So we have the caramel part here. You can, if you put more water, then it will be more liquid. But yeah, I'll just keep it like this because I want it a little bit more thicker. And although it's not very smooth, but that's okay. Doesn't have to. You don't have a mandolin. Unfortunately, I forgot to bring my my gloves to protect my hands. So. But I'm not gonna slice it much. So I will slice apples just very thinly.
I was looking into getting this mandolin. I'll wait. Yeah. I was saying I'll wait until you're done chopping.
Oh no, that's okay. I mean, I don't go like all the way.
All right. Can this mandolin, can you move the blade height on it, or is it?
Yeah, you can move the blade. You can make it thicker or thinner. I do like them thin for this cake. Maybe I'll just even cut them in half too. So I can mix it well together. Because if you bake your apple, it will be soft. But we don't bake, so I want to have it
super thin.
thin, so it's soft. I have enough apples, so I'm just gonna slice them a little bit, and then use another one. And then I can also remove the core. I should remove the core first, or if I had my glove, it would be much more easier. I have they're made out of polypropylene, and they're just like gloves, but you can't cut your fingers if you wear them.
What is the company? How do you spell that?
Polypropylene.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I only recommend this because you don't want to cut your fingers with a mandolin. It's really bad. You had another question?
No, that was it.
Oh, okay.
So how has your raw food diet transitioned from, I mean, when I was here before, like 4 years ago, you ate mostly a big giant bowl of fruit in the morning.
Okay,
and
yeah,
greens
it's
in
pretty
the
much a day.
afternoon. Are you still the same?
Still the same, yeah. I switch it up seasonally sometimes. Sometimes I have phases where, well, I eat seasonally the fruits, so that changes. Sometimes I eat a lot of watermelon every day. Then I eat a lot of persimmons maybe. Occasionally I like to eat mushrooms, but then I don't like to eat mushrooms.
Yeah, they're decomposers. I'm kind of suspicious about mushrooms on a raw diet. I kind of like
I don't know.
to significantly cook mushrooms in the medium.
Me neither. I don't know. I still don't have a real opinion about mushrooms. Sometimes I feel like, oh, I want to eat mushrooms, and I eat them, and I feel like, oh, I don't really like mushrooms.
Do you ever, or are you familiar with people eating any type of squash raw? Like raw?
Oh yeah,
plantain?
squash you can eat. Yeah.
Yeah?
Mhm.
Right.
I use these apples for something else.
What about rice, beans, lentils? So it's pretty much excluded from that.
Rice, yes. Sometimes I have a rice, a specific red rice that sprouts, but it doesn't taste like rice. So I'm not talking about the blue rice that is actually heat-treated rice, and they just soak it in water and get soft. I have rice that really sprouts, but it kind of it tastes more like oats when I sprout it.
Where do you get that from?
This particular one I got from Whole Foods, and was surprised that it really sprouted because
Yeah.
it's not the long wild rice, it's more the it's a little bit round.
Well, yeah, but you can also sprout like mung beans.
Mung beans I sprout lentils. But to be honest, it's not really what I do every day. I do like it occasionally, but it's not a must. For me, a must is eating a lot of fruit and then eating a lot of salads and meats. Yeah, it takes me a little bit longer to do this here because of the. So I don't want to hurt myself.
The most important part of cooking.
Yeah, don't hurt yourself. Yeah, see? Nothing happened, but yeah. This mentoring is scary. I would never use it without gloves anymore, but I forgot my gloves.
And why don't you use like a slicing blade in the food?
I looked for it. Yeah. the
You
slice-
would if you had.
I would,
Okay.
yeah.
I'm
They don't
watching
have it in
going,
the kitchen, so I'm
That's
surprised.
too much work. Why?
Yeah, I asked the kitchen if they have any tools or any how else I can do it. They didn't have it.
Just a whole slice. It's whatever it is.
Eat one more apple and then. Oh yeah, and I was gonna talk about these apples. I like to buy apples that look like this, like from the farmer's market. Apple are one fruit that I find in the supermarkets. They look very artificial. They are waxed and too perfect. So I really like apples that are from the farmer's market. Natural apples. So that's what I also make sure. I don't eat all fruits that you can find in the supermarkets. I never buy apples in the supermarket unless they're really, really organic or local or something. But apples are just really not my favorite when it comes to supermarket fruits. And in the supermarket, you can buy really well melons, watermelon when they're in season, oranges probably. Yeah. Oops. Yeah, these apples are very natural. They're from, I think from Dr. Goldhammer's farm.
Yeah. Do you do any gardening or farming or raising?
Unfortunately, not really.
Yeah.
Yeah, the deer will eat everything.
Yeah. Right. That promotes carnivorism, I suppose.
Yeah. Luckily, my landlords are gardening, so they give me something. Yeah, I like to go to farmers markets, or sometimes I also order, like dates, for example. I like to order from the farms directly. There's different ways also how you can save on food. And usually I get a good deal when I go to the farmers market because they know I buy a lot. And then if you have a dehydrator, it doesn't really matter how much you buy. Because you can always dry your food. You can make crackers or something like that. Recently I bought a lot of figs, like a whole box full of figs. But since I have a dehydrator, I made fig bars or, yeah.
Have you ever, I'm very familiar with kale chips. I was just thinking about like how often I'll buy some lettuce from the grocery store and then it just melts into a puddle in my refrigerator.
Oh, really?
But that's, maybe more of a reflection on me and my salad eating practices. But I was curious about like dehydrating iceberg or dehydrating romaine.
Oh, I've heard that before. It's kind of like kale chips.
Kale chips, just the same thing, but different. Right, there it is.
It's similar, I think, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, if you don't eat, but you can also put your lettuce into crackers as well. So how you make crackers is with chia seeds or flax seeds, and then you mix it with vegetables, and you can put lettuce in there too. This is how I get rid of all the things that I haven't eaten, and before they get bad, I'll just turn them into crackers.
Do you soak the chia seeds and flax seeds before you start?
Yeah, usually I do. Who made a cake like this, like a regular cake with sliced apples, and you did?
I'm regular, not according to that. No.
Yeah. What would you use instead of the date syrup? What was that?
I'm just apples because they're so sweet.
Oh, just the apples, just
Yeah.
sliced and then on the
Yes.
cake. Oh, okay. Yeah, especially if you bake them, then they get even more sugary and
Right.
caramelized. Yeah, we don't have that, so you
Yeah,
have to use
I don't
dates.
like, well, actually butter.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But no more.
Yeah, with the dates, you you don't have to bake it because it's already caramel.
Right.
And then the butter sticks it together, so we
Right.
also have the dates sticking in. Of course, you can use more apples, more sauce, but I'm just gonna stop here and then put it on my cake. Just make sure you really mix it well.
I like the idea that apple crumb is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Taking the dehydrated slices and then chopping it in bits. Never
Yeah.
thought about how to actually make it myself, but now I can.
And then it goes on top of my crust. That's actually pretty thick enough, I would say. Of course, I'm not an expert in making it pretty, but you can maybe make it more pretty. Although we have the crumbles, they could just go on top and then. Okay. So now our crumbles. Then again, how much you take from this is not that important. Just according to your liking. You can make the cake thicker or thinner. You can make this cake without a crust too. And also, instead of these crumbles, if you don't have them, you could use more almonds, chopped almonds, or chopped other nuts, chopped walnuts. You can put this on top as well if you like. It's just an idea. Also, instead of the almonds, if you have dried apples, you can use this for your crust as well. I mean, this sticks already together as it is, so if you just press it down, it already sticks. So you have a cake made out of 2 ingredients. That's pretty much the cake. We still have a little bit of time. I was thinking about my favorite key lime cream. Oh yeah, and of course you could add also cinnamon. I didn't add any cinnamon really, but you can add any spices if you like.
Where's the best place to get your recipes?
My recipes? I do have a few ebooks. This one, I don't have it anywhere yet, but it will be. So I'm also recording all these lectures for my YouTube channel, and I will put this also on my YouTube with the ingredients list. So you can also watch other lectures from the past and future.
On YouTube?
Yeah, if you also leave me your email on this sheet, I have a sign-up sheet if you want to leave me your email. I'll send you more information too.
Thank you.
Okay, so that was the cake. And then the key lime cream, it tastes just much better than any cream you'll ever have. I'm just not sure about these avocados. I'm gonna just open them up and see if they're still good. Sort of right. Oh, they're pretty good. So instead of the dairy cream, I'm using anything that is high fat. And since it's called a key lime, so a key lime, I mean it's a lime, so it's green anyway, so avocado is green. So that's actually kind of nice. And I can still use my blender. There was just date syrup in there. We are going to use dates anyway. So I will, instead of dairy, I'm using avocados. They're very creamy, and you can use them for sweets as well. Just want to make sure they're not. Just want to make sure they're not brown. Yeah. Although I'm blending it, but it really doesn't taste good if you have brown avocados. Okay, 3 avocados. But again, you can use more avocados or less. And again, dates, because we want to have it sweet, of course.
Did you start totally raw vegan because of a health reason?
Pretty much, yeah. I'm using 5 dates for this. But again, you can use more dates, less dates, whatever you prefer. Yeah, so the older I got, the more problems I got, and then pharmaceuticals weren't helping me. I got headaches, I got worse with taking pharmaceuticals, so I thought, well, it's probably the diet, so I gotta change my diet. And gradually I was into eating more natural, so that was the point really. And I thought eating meat is natural, but then I realized it's really not that natural. Because the farm animals are just so kept unnaturally. And they also get artificial supplements. So the only reason I wanted to still consume meat was because of B12 that I thought I couldn't get anywhere else. Sometimes I thought I should eat meat, but then I realized the farm animals get B12 supplements as well. So what's the point then? So they don't have B12 either anymore. So B12 is really, I think it's a problem with your gut health and of course the lack of nature. So you're supposed to be in nature. Yeah, because if you go on a walk in nature, then you actually breathe in the air, which the dust, with the soil, the healthy soil. So this is what we need. And the animals apparently in these industries, they don't have nature anymore either. So they have the same problem. But yeah, either you can take supplements or you can just go to nature. I don't take any supplements myself, so.
You don't do a B12 supplement?
I don't know.
Our body doesn't produce it naturally, though, does it, or is it?
Yeah, there's one study that showed that some tribes that ate very naturally, they were very healthy, and they produced it in their gut as well. But I mean, nobody knows really. So you make your own judgment, you make your own decisions. I made my decision. I just go out in nature here and then.
And do you get your B12 levels checked?
I had them checked, especially the homocysteine levels, and they were normal.
So if they're normal, you don't need anything?
Yeah, that's what I think. You can always check yourself, and then if you have any symptoms, sure, it might be too late then, but yeah, definitely check yourself if you're concerned. But I don't really have any problems. So I don't see a reason to supplement or take any medication like this if I don't have any problem.
B12 is about all I take, because I thought I needed, but my levels have been low.
Yeah.
So.
How about D?
D, I make sure that I go in the sun a lot. I don't really feel well if I take supplements. It's like, it feels weird to me, so. And some supplements are also toxic, like vitamin A, vitamin E. It can cause cancer. I mean, there's studies that show that taking even beta-carotenoids isolated can cause cancer. And antioxidants are also not good to take isolated. If it's in the food, it's healthy, but yeah. So you have to be careful. So I added the avocado, dates, and 2 limes. It depends how many limes you want because yeah, sometimes they're more juicy or more sour or less. And then I also need a little bit of water.
How many avocados?
I had 3 avocados. I need a little bit of water as well.
So that's just 3 ingredients?
Avocado, dates, lime, and water. Yeah, with water it's 4, I guess. Let me taste this. Might need a little bit more lime juice. Yeah, probably would add more lime juice. You definitely always have to taste it, because every lime is different. And the more lime you add and dates, the less you will taste the avocados. I'll take it later.
And you soak the dates, right?
I did not soak the dates.
You shouldn't.
You can if you have dates that are really, really hard. But these dates are natural dates, so they were very soft. So I don't need to. I didn't have to need that. I didn't have to soak something. Maybe you prefer it a little bit sweeter. You can also make it sweeter. Okay, so. And I really love this lifestyle because it's, so a lot of diets, because they don't work, because you're just suffering. You just restrict yourself, you restrict your food, you restrict your joy in eating. And that's really not sustainable. So I never go hungry to bed. I eat as much as I want. Oh, is there water in that bowl? I think the bowl had a little bit of water. Ah, it's okay. It's not much.
Do you eat 3 meals a day or just 2?
I do usually eat 2. I mean, I eat fruits till maybe 3 p.m. And then I have a big salad, and I might even have more fruit. So it's not really. I might eat it in 1 meal, or I might eat the breakfast, lunch, and 2 meals. So depends.
Do you have like a group of friends that eat the same way?
No, I don't have any friends. I'm just kidding. No, well, I do have friends that they eat different. So
But they don't ostracize you.
no, they're actually really interested in my lifestyle, I think. Okay, it just, I mean, you can present it a little bit better. You can also use this for your cake, your cream lime cake. I would use then some other ingredients to make it even thicker. Maybe use more dates, or there's psyllium husk you can use, or chia seeds to make it really thick. But I'm using it just as it is right now. And I have my banana, I call it marshmallows. So, as I said in the beginning, I dry bananas just in whole, and they get really spongy when you dry them just like that.
How ripe are they when you dehydrate them?
Right, they're ripe. They have the little
Black spots. on
black
them.
spots. They're not super overripe. They're not completely all black. But they're definitely ripe and sweet. And what I like to do at home, I also use raw chocolate, raw cacao. You don't use that here. You can also use carob. But at home, I like to make a chocolate cream with hemp seeds, dates, raw cacao, and water. And then I add these banana marshmallows. But here, I made this key lime cream, which is also really delicious. Yeah, here they don't have hemp seeds. You could use hemp seeds and carob if you don't like raw cacao. but it actually tastes really good. And that's the dried banana marshmallows, they call them. I don't know if anyone had ever made key lime cream with marshmallows, but I think it tastes pretty good together. Okay, those are the two desserts I was gonna make here. Yeah, so yeah, those are the two desserts you can make. You can make an apple cake with crumbles or key lime cream, or yeah, just the date syrup is also really great. If you just make date syrup and then you blend it up, or you slice some apples with that, and you have like apples with caramel. This is a different idea. Yeah, so I will taste test it for you. Who's eating and who's fasting? Who's eating? Oh, you. Okay.
My favorite raw dessert is just a date and a slice of apple in it. That's it.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, you use a slice of apple and then the date. It's the most important is that you get the ingredients. You get the good ingredients, like the high quality dates, the good tasty apples, and then it doesn't really matter what you do with them, but they already taste good as they are. So that's really the point.
Key lime cream you put on the same crust as you did with the apple? Or you just eat it like that?
You could eat it like that, or you can also use it on a crust.
Okay. And can you do it without the banana? Because I don't really like banana.
Oh yeah, you can definitely do whatever you want.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. I'm
If you make a
I'm
pie
gonna not
of
be
it,
tempted anymore.
I'm thinking if you made a pie of it, you could freeze it and then it would be sliceable.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe just psyllium or you just add psyllium.
Yeah, I made a cake one time and I added psyllium, I think. Or you can also
Psyllium
use
powder.
white chia seeds as well.
And the emails list, it will go to the same site that you offer through your QR code, right? So we can just scan the QR code.
You could, yeah. Yeah, I didn't really cut this well.
Would you freeze, could you freeze that and leftovers, or would you not do that?
Freeze what?
Could you freeze any leftover, like say you made a whole one just for yourself?
I don't really like frozen food too much, but the key lime cream definitely would freeze better because it has more fat. Okay, let's try the cake first, and then you can try it as well. Oh, the cake is very sweet.
It looks like you have a pretty high level of sugar eating, right? With a lot of fruits and so on.
Yeah, the cake is really sweet. I probably would do more apples. Yeah, but they're sweet. Can you try the key lime pie? Cream. Definitely, the crumbles are also very sweet.
So with this diet, do you check your, let's say, HbA1c once in a while?
Yeah, then it looks all fine. I think it needs a little bit more sweetness, but yeah, I'll let you try it. Maybe it's not my favorite thing, but I'll let you try it and let me know how you like it.
Well, we should try the key lime the lime first.
This is not sweet enough,
Right.
it's too sweet.
So try that one first.
And then the cake separate.
Because you had your cake first.
And now the other time
Oh,
I
maybe
taste
that's
sweet
why
at
I-
all.
Well, that
I
will
was
make
like-
it, I'm just
I
saying.
was oversaturated full of sweet.
Right. And that's gonna make that taste less sweet, and if it's on the, it needs more sweetener, so.
Yeah.
You
Well,
need bowls and spoons? You need bowls and spoons?
I do have a few bowls here.
Okay.
I have a few spoons. If it's not enough, you can get more. Yeah, I have a few here. Anyway, thank you so much for your attention. If you have any more questions, then yeah, ask more questions.